play their tune, dance to the beat of the dead balloon. Find a rise, find a rose. Currency flows where the data unfolds. Find a rise, find a sing. Money moves on, invisible strings. Find a rise, find a room. Currency flows where the data unfolds. Find a rise, find a sing. Money moves on, invisible strings. Jaws scream silent, they don't know
Laura Schlossberg, Managing Director at BK Asset Management.
BK Asset Management's Kathy Lean.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. This is Kathy. If you can hear me, see me, say hello. Good morning, Bob. Good morning, Tony. Good morning. Sound good? Audio good? Everything looking good? The markets are certainly looking this good this morning, isn't it? Any of you long the markets at all? I have been long. We'll talk about that later. For those of you that became members, I often will share with you our 821 very simple strategy for day trading the NASDAQ, and that had a cross earlier this morning. And I'm long right now, and the trade's looking good. Although, we're getting close to the New York Open, so you got to be a little bit careful with that. But the markets are looking good, and it certainly looks like we are going to hold on to the gains today. Now, who's brand new in the room? Say hello if you're brand new, because we always start our sessions talking about what has become the two most important drivers of market flows. The two most important drivers of market flows. For those of you that are seasoned, members, tell me what are the two most important drivers of market flows right now, and what should we all be watching? Let's see. What should we all be watching these days? What do you guys think? Let's see. All right. No one is answering. There are only two key drivers in the markets. I'm going to take this opportunity to share with you my screen so we can start talking about them. Give me 1 second. I just got to organize my screens a bit. All right. So I am sharing with, okay, great. Vinac Renefero. I can't pronounce that, but I apologize. But yes, you guys are absolutely right. The two key drivers in the markets these days is oil as well as U.S. Treasury yields. And today, there's only one story. That story is oil. Oil, and even if I kind of remove all my indicators, oil gapped down on Sunday at the open and is trading down 6%. It was down 7 or 8% this morning. As Richard points out, macro is driving the flow. Macro is basically the key driver. And I hope that's why all of you are here, because you realize the importance of fundamentals of macro in determining not only how this week's trades, but how the market trades, period. In fact, this is expected to be one of the busiest months of the summer. One of the busiest weeks of the summer, not months. This is one of the busiest weeks in the summer. We have so much going on. We have 3 central bank rate decisions. We have GDP reports. We have inflation reports. And of course, we have this story that is unfolding right now, which is the 6% drop in oil prices, along with, if you look over here, my friends, the pullback in 10-year Treasury yields. Now, last week, 10-year Treasury yields rose to their highest level. It's more pronounced on a weekly chart. Rose to its highest levels since January. And this was bad news for stocks. Single-handedly, the reason why stocks were in this general downtrend, we're looking at the NASDAQ, but also single-handedly why ES had been in this general downtrend. It's been in this general downtrend because U.S. Treasury yields were at their highest level in a year. And if you could join my stream in the past, you will know higher Treasury yields is bad news. It increases borrowing costs for consumers. It increases borrowing costs for businesses. And this is also kind of important going into this week's big events, because we have 3 central bank rate decisions: the Federal Reserve, the Bank of Japan, and the Bank of England. Now, I always like to create these beautiful, where's my tables? These beautiful economy charts. Can you see them? There, okay, that's not as zoom in as I would like. Let's see how I can make this a little bit, there we go. This is what I like. All right, so this shows you how the US economy changed from one meeting to the next. Now, pop quiz. Not really a pop quiz, my friends, but are there more red or greens? I want you to type into the chat. Is there more red or is there more green? Red represents deterioration in the economy or in that specific data since the June meeting. Green represents improvements in the economy since the last meeting. All right, type into the chat box. More red than green. Yes, yes, yes. Red, 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 red. And we have US Treasury yields up quite a bit already. So what does all this red mean? This means that, first of all, retail sales has weakened in the month of July. Consumer confidence in the UMich index improved, but conference board number deteriorated. Non-farm payrolls also weakened. 50,000 is, a third of what it was in May. Inflation lower across the board because oil prices were down. Now, oil prices did increase since then. Oil prices shot up above $80 a barrel, even kind of got close to $90 a barrel. But today, we're basically before the Fed meeting. And so we're before the Fed meeting and oil prices with this nice little, pullback story. Maybe it's politically timed. Maybe the ceasefire ahead of the Fed is Trump's way of using pressure to keep the Feds, on hold or more even keeled about inflation pressures. I have stopped predicting Trump's motivations, but what we do know is that inflation had fallen between May and June, and we also know that oil prices, which were a huge problem over the past week, is now less of a problem with oil prices down 6%. And maybe tomorrow, if the hostilities continue to be paused, this could fall further. Maybe by the Fed meeting, not too far away on Wednesday, we could be below $80 a barrel. And that could be engineered to be exactly what Trump wants ahead of the FOMC meeting. Housing data, mixed. U.S. interest rates, they're high. 10-year treasuries yields I showed you were rising. Not good for the housing market. And you see that in the housing market numbers. And then activity. Manufacturing and service sector activity is weaker. So that's also not good. The only thing that's really overwhelmingly positive is the rise in bond yields. And the rise in bond yields is not good because it basically does the Fed's work for them. With 10-year treasury yields basically increasing almost 0.25% from 4.48% to 4.69% since the last Fed meeting. In some ways, it does the work for the Fed already. So what does that mean? What is our game plan going into the Fed meeting? Before we get to that, let's talk about what's expected in the markets. I always like to look at the CME Fed Fund futures. And taking a look at the CME Fed Fund futures, you can see, first of all, rates currently are 3.5% and 3.75%. For whatever reason, believe it or not, the market has a 34% chance of an interest rate hike this week. I mean, it's pretty much zero. There's zero chance of an interest rate hike in July. Those should be zero. But I guess this reflects the hawkish tilt that the market expects. And then in September, the market is pricing in a 80% chance. 56.9 plus 23.9 is an 80% chance of a 25 basis point rate hike by the Federal Reserve in September. Many people will say that the market's completely priced in a rate hike in September, followed by the end of the year. So we're at 3.5 to 3.75%. The market is pricing in about a 60% chance that we'll have 2 interest rate hikes by the end of the year. So the market is pricing in pretty aggressive hawkishness from the Fed. Now, the question is, will Warsh deliver on Wednesday? And is this already what the market anticipates? Those are the 2 key questions. And I think what you will see in the price action of the markets, first off, U.S. Treasury yields have come up quite a bit already. I mean, between the beginning of July to present, even with this pullback, we've gone from 4.35% up to 4.7%. So in many ways, the bond market, which is the truest market of them all, has in essence priced in Fed tightening. The dollar, let's take a look at the dollar. We'll look at the dollar index. Taking a look at the dollar index from July, where's July? Okay, from July to now, it's pretty much unchanged. I mean, you can argue that from mid-July to now, we're up. The market is kind of pricing in the hawkishness, but it's kind of preempted the move much sooner. And of course, in dollar yen, it's much more dramatic. Gold. Now, gold, if the Fed is hawkish, and I'm just going to write this down because I love to write in the charts, a hawkish Fed is bearish gold. A less hawkish Fed is bullish gold. So, I mean, that's really the key that you guys have to remember. When we walk into FOMC, I always say that rate decisions, Federal Reserve, BOJ, BOE, are always best traded reactively. And with this week's Fed meeting, if we look on the calendar, you'll see this week's Fed meeting is on Wednesday. We have the Fed meeting at 2 o'clock and we have the press conference at 2:30. No changes are expected from the Fed. So in many ways, equities are already, if we look at, S&P, equities are bouncing a little bit because treasury yields are bouncing. So what am I trying to get at? There's a couple things that I'm watching for from the Fed. The FOMC statement itself, I think, is going to be relatively unchanged. When we last heard from the Fed, they were already a little bit more hawkish. Since then, as you saw from the data table that I showed you over here, there has been more deterioration than more improvements in the economy. And as Richard said, more cautiousness is warranted. So what is the statement likely to say? I think that we're going to get, first of all, to be honest, I think we're going to get nothing. I think this week's FOMC meeting could end up being a non-event or a short-lived impact. Because if you think about it, there's only two things happening. The first thing is the Fed statement, right? The Fed statement data hasn't been great. And so the Fed statement, I think for the most part, is going to remain unchanged. So 2 p.m. Fed statement, I think we'll have little movement. Then 2:30, Warsh presser. Okay, so 2:30 Warsh presser, what are we going to get from the Warsh presser? Well, first off, I think he's going to take this opportunity to talk about the changes that he wants to make at the Fed, because he has previously said that he doesn't think that press conferences are necessary if there's nothing new to be said. Now, I don't think that he's going to go ahead and cancel this press conference at all. Will he cancel presser? Not at all. But maybe he could use this opportunity to talk about not holding press conferences if nothing new, like this meeting, is probably going to be said. Because right now we're in July, and the next meeting after July is September. September is a huge meeting, not just because the Fed is expected to raise interest rates in September, but because September is when they update their economic projections. So they do all the work, they crunch all the numbers, they update all of their economic projections, and that is when the market is going to start thinking about a Federal Reserve interest rate hike. So, I think he's basically going to start setting the stage for a Fed hike. So, there's so much time between now and then. If it was up to him, he'd probably not hold the presser. So I think what we could get out of this FOMC press conference is more of, is more information on the changes that he wants to make in terms of Fed communication, and use maybe this July meeting as an example that everyone is so tense going to the Fed meeting, but, let's keep it short. There's nothing really to say. With all that said, though, there's still going to be a hawkish tilt because the Fed is still expected to raise interest rates in September. So I think that this Fed meeting will probably be less market moving than the others. And if it's less market moving, maybe that could end up being a disappointment to the market in general. So what if we have little movement? That could end up being a short-lived pullback in stocks and maybe a bit of a relief rally if the missiles don't resume, the missile hostilities in the Middle East don't resume, and oil prices continue to stay lower, trends lower, then we may see a relief equity in stocks. Dollar, this it could lead to a little bit of a pullback in the dollar and rally in gold. So what this tells me is that what could be more important is the Middle East and oil. But that's not the only thing we have this week. We also have Q2 GDP, personal income, personal spending, PCE deflator on Thursday. All of this coming a day after FOMC. And usually GDP is backward looking. And we don't say that. We don't really focus too much on GDP because it's backwards looking. But when we have the first release, the advanced release of GDP, which basically gives us the first look into the growth in the second quarter, that is much more market moving. And as you can see, the market is looking for stronger growth in the second quarter. So Thursday could actually be more market moving than Wednesday. But, we still got to pay attention to the FOMC statement because, the presser, because that's always interesting. But I think Thursday could be more interesting. The data is expected to be good, but I think the risk is to the downside because retail sales did weaken a little bit. So I think the risk is to the downside for the Federal Reserve. What else do we have going on? We also have the BOJ meeting. So yen, 40-year lows, dollar yen, 40-year highs. We haven't heard much from the Japanese. They, of course, pledged decisive action. Prime Minister overnight basically said that they can't declare that they've won the war on deflation. They haven't fully beat it. But what do we see here? We see here a lot more green than red, right? So there's been a lot more improvement than deterioration in the Japan economy. So could Japan surprise us with an interest rate hike? What could lead to a top in dollar yen? I mean, it would have to come in surprises, right? Surprise BOJ hike or surprise coordinated intervention from the US. And really, a durable pullback in dollar yen really needs to come from the dollar portion of the trade, not the yen portion of the trade. But because look at this, my friends, green on the screen. And if you see this green on the screen here, you will see that there is scope. There is a possibility for a surprise interest rate hike from the Japanese. And that is what is needed for dollar yen to top out. And maybe that's what they're waiting for. Maybe they know that, all this threat for intervention really doesn't work. And so what do we need to do? We need to catch the market off guard. We need to stop out all of these longs. We need to stop out all of the carry traders. Because what are the carry traders moving on? Carry traders are moving on, the carry traders are basically moving on the yield differential. If they surprise the market with a BOJ hike, which is a possibility, we could have a pullback. So everyone's talking about the Swissy. All right, what's going on in the Swissy? All right, Swissy, yes, it popped higher. And we know that, honestly, this is what? 20 points? 20 points is nothing really for the Swissy. I mean, do we have any, I have it on, I don't have it here. Let me see if I have it on my Pro X that I can bring over here. I'm certain we didn't have anything meaningful in regards to the Swissy. I'm looking at financial juice. Okay, it says, actually we did. You're right. SMB, I'm going to move this over here. It says that SMB, where is this? Expects to keep the interest rate at 0 until the end of 2027. So, this is what led to a sharp sell-off in the Swiss franc, because the SMB is probably going to be the only central bank not to change interest rates. Remember, ECB is expected to hike this year, maybe in September. Fed is expected hike. BOAE also expected hike. BOJ could surprise the market. So, yes, this is because SMB basically said that they are not going to change interest rates at all. And yield is driving the story. So that is why Euro Swiss spiked. That is why Swiss is moving. So Efrain asked, why is the yen still to the downside? We just talked about that. The market doesn't think anything is going to come from the Japanese. And the Fed is still going to be raising interest rates, possibly in September. Japanese sitting on their hands. But do not rule out the possibility of a surprise interest rate hike from the BOJ. Now, obviously, that's not what the market's expected, but that is certainly a risk. All right, last central bank this week is the BOE. So unlike the Fed, where it's like a sea of red, the Japan, which is like a sea of green, here in the data that you see in the UK, it's mixed, right? I mean, it's basically a bunch of some red, some green, nothing really here that is a clear trend. Yes, retail sales dropped a little bit, but consumer confidence is up. Claiming jobs data, inflation is weaker. So really, there's more weakness. But the activity indicators, the PMIs, manufacturing slightly softer, but services and composite is up. So still so mixed. So that is why, BOE is not expected to change interest rates at all this week. And they are expected to raise interest rates once this year, but it may come a little later. I don't think the market expects much. And so, for the most part, I think the pound will remain pretty much where it is, driven entirely by one, risk appetite, two, US dollar flows. And that's really the key, US dollar flows for the market this week. So going back to the calendar, what are the biggest events to focus on this week? We touched on some of them. First off, German IFO was stronger. Part of the reason why euro is up, euro is also up because we have risk on move in the markets. But Eurozone data hasn't been terrible. PMIs last week were strong. So between the PMIs, between the IFO, these are good numbers. And then we had durable goods orders in the US, which came in weaker. We also had some, other data. Actually, a better way to look at this is actually through the BK Traders, let's go.bk Traders. I think it's the heat map that I updated. If it doesn't load up here, there we go. This is our BK Traders heat map, where this is available for BK Traders or anyone members or anyone who has the zip indicator. So every week I update our fundamental heat map. You expand this. I talk about how stocks remain under pressure ahead of the Fed's meeting. This was before the jump in oil. Talked about what the Fed is expected. No policy change is expected. US GDP is due for release. So let's go down to the dollar. The US dollar rebounded last week, aiming for its one-year highs. The Federal Reserve meets this week. Q2 GDP is due for release along with PCE. The US dollar rebounded, and there's no major data releases last week, but the calendar picks up this week with second quarter GDP. There's been little progress, and as long as yields remain positive, we'll have to keep an eye out for that. But I'm neutral bullish euros because we did have firmer ZOO and PMI readings. I am bearish pound. I am bullish Aussies because with Aussie, we had stronger PMI and solid job growth. Also stronger data from China. I'm neutral CAD because CAD data has been kind of weaker, but oil prices previously were higher, but now oil prices are down. So I'm more bearish than bullish CAD right now. Kiwi, I'm bullish Kiwi. That was the best performing currency last week. Yen, I'm neutral bullish. Swiss franc, I'm neutral bearish, especially after the comments. So lots of good stuff. Those of you that are BK members, make sure that you check the heat map. It is updated. And if you want to become a BK member, definitely check out bktraders.com. We've got a lot of great info in there. All right. So that's really, aside from that, we also have Australian inflation data this week, FOMC, BOE. We have inflation data also from the Eurozone. We have flash Eurozone GDP numbers. So not only do we have Q2 GDP from the US, but we also have Q2 GDP from the Eurozone as well. And then on Friday, we have Eurozone flash PMIs, German labor market numbers. So it's a big week for dollar, euro, yen, pound, as well as the market in general, and also actually the Swiss franc, also the Australian dollar, because we have the Aussie data. Now, taking a look at the techs, let's start off with equities. Equities, we are, kind of trying to move below all of the major moving averages, bouncing a little bit, but not a very convincing bounce here, still below the 20 SMA. I think stocks will hold steady this week as long as oil prices, there isn't a headline risk that causes oil prices to reverse. Gold prices, they are rebounding. Gold, I think, has fallen a lot. I think gold, deserves a bit of a relief rally, starting to begin to rally above it. I think we should see more of a squeeze up in gold, probably to 42.50, 42.30, 42.50 this week. Dollar yen still in a relentless uptrend, but beginning to fade a little. Euro dollar, moving quite down, remaining under pressure. But depending upon what the Fed says, maybe we could move between the 20 and the 50 here. And I think that's likely. Dollar CAD, I'm bullish dollar CAD. I like that quite a bit. Pound dollar, I'm bearish. I think, UK data, more weakness than strength. Aussie, I'm more bullish Aussie. So this creates some really nice opportunities in the crosses. And then Kiwi dollar, not really much there. I encourage everyone to stay on top of this using our BK Traders Intel sheet. This is a headline-driven market. This is completely free. So I'm going to drop this link into the chat over here. Completely free. Just register for it. We are in slightly positive mode, constructive 67 over 100. This is updated pretty much every couple hours. So when you start your trading session, this is how I start my day. What's the big news? You get S&P surging, tells you why, because WTI crude collapses nearly 7%, its sharpest single session drop in months, because U.S. halts 13-night airstrike campaign against Iran. Pretty much, when I start my morning, I scan this, I got everything I needed. And then I also, did Trump say anything? Trump, all the last 24 hours, it's heavily focused on Iran conflict. Posted an image of himself in the U.S. military taking this oil. Okay, what's going on here? What did he post? All right, so he posted this image here, taking over the tanker, oil tanker, and staking the American. Okay, flag on it. Take it for what it's worth. But if you want to know, if you start the morning, did Trump say anything overnight that I should be paying attention to? You just click on latest from Trump. Fed watch, latest from Fed. We know that we're in the quiet period for the Fed. So right now, they're not going to say anything at all until the FOMC rate decision. Shows you where we are from significant highs and lows. How did Asia trade overnight? Green on the screen across the board. Tells you some significant things that may have happened with the yen. And then any key comments from G7. So lots of great stuff. This is how I start my day. So make sure that you register for our free BK Trader Intel sheet because this is the way, I start my trading day. All right, now I'd like to open up the floor to any quick questions that any of you may have. Any quick questions? If not, I want to take a brief moment to share, some, really cool things from the prop space, just off, Take Profit Trader, 40% off for life, never pay an activation fee. Take Profit Trader is one of the favorite prop firms for a lot of professional funded traders because you can get paid out from day one on your pro account. A lot of our good friends are trading them every single day. There are no minimum days until your first withdrawal. You get, immediate withdrawal very, very fast. No payout caps. So lots of really great stuff here. Make sure you use code EDGE for 40% off. Boris will come on later. He's been trading Take Profit, quite a bit lately. So they're a sponsor for today's shows. Make sure you check them out.
Yeah, we traded Take Profit this morning in London, and we did very well. Why am I getting feedback?
I'm not hearing feedback, Boris. I hear you perfectly.
Oh, I'm hearing feedback on myself. I don't know why it's going on. Okay, anyways, yeah, we did Take Profit. It's awesome. The other great thing about Take Profit is that it does not have minimum numbers, minimum trades per day. So you don't have to do $150, $250 a day to do it, which is very, very nice. They don't put any artificial barriers in the trade.
What I love about them is that it's simple. It's one program and that's it. Lucid launched a new program today. For those of you that follow them, which is all the rage. I don't even know where it is. I have to look it up later and I'll post about it. But they launched apparently some sort of new program. All of these firms have a whole bunch of different programs. But Take Profit keeps it simple, one program. and, same set of rules across all of the different sizes. And that's it. Why complicate things? Give the best program to the traders and, let them, do as best as they can. All right. Any questions? Let's see. They also they also allow micro scalping, which is really good. I'm assuming if you trade dots with Boris, you're probably getting it in and out pretty quickly. So, they also allow microscopic scalping. A lot of trades just like that. What is all this eco stuff, Boris? ECO, Boris? ECO?
Echo. It's echo. They're hearing an echo.
So okay.
I took myself off. I'll wait till you finish.
Well, I think I'm just opening up to see if there's any questions. I don't see any questions for me. The week is busy. Stay on top of everything we do. One of the main reasons why you want to get access to our BK Intel sheet, because headlines are going to be driving the markets, and this is completely free. Make sure you sign up for it. Just bktradertools/Intel. All right. Do you want to come on, Boris? All right. Let's let Boris come on.
Hey guys. Okay. Looks like I'm okay now, right? Everybody can hear me? Sound check, mic check, no echo? Say no echo, right? In the room? Let me see, make sure. I hear myself fine right now. I think I had echo with Kathy. Let me see if I got this.
Stop filled.
Yep, I think we're good, right? We're good. No echo. All right. Yeah. It was just. I think I was broadcasting through her. All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. First of all, order of business. Everybody, okay, very good. Yes, we're all set up. First order of business. The DOTS lifetime has been updated to 1.2.1. If you guys want to update it that way. It's basically really simplified the whole structure of how we create our triangles, our scalp triangles, and I just made them into a confirm triangle. There's nothing really new in this thing. It's just cosmetically, it's a much easier structure for us to follow. I have the lightning bolts on here today, but I think I'm going to take them off because I'm going to just trade triangles. I'm really not going to trade the lightning bolts because that's a separate scalp, and I find myself distracted if I trade too many things. So I'm going to take lightning bolts off here and just trade triangles today. It's been a challenge. I'll be honest with you. It was a challenge in London until we really hit like 6-7 in a row, and it looks like it's going to be a challenge in New York. This first triangle scalp that I took stopped me out. Did not have enough continuity. But as is always the case, it's a little bit rough going, and then you give it 2 or 3 or 4 times, and you're going to start hitting 4 or 5 in a row. It's exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for that, 4, 5, 6, 7 streaks in a row when we're hitting all those winners. Actually, between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock, there was a lot of clean winning trades. It's just that, like right now, this was the first losing trade. So this was positive triangle, confirmed, and died. And there's 2 ways to trade this. And honestly, like the way that I've been trading it is probably the bad way. So I'm going to just basically trade it the really cautious way. So the 2 ways to trade this is if you get stopped on the on your proper setup. So you have a proper setup. The proper setup is to get stopped. An aggressive way to do this is stop and reverse, right? Now, we could probably do stop and reverse in well charts with lots of degree of ease, but it's hard to do it in TradingView and TradeEvade well, and it's unnecessary. You don't need to chase the loss and come, and make it back. It'll take you 2 trades to get the loss back in the next half an hour, just as well. It really, in the grander scheme of things, it's probably going to be healthier for you, both for your account and your size. So I'm going to stop chasing the loss that I've been doing a lot, and just let it go. Get clipped, fine. We're going to go to the next account and look at the next account trade. So right now, I'm actually, by the way, guys, I meant to tell you, Apex is still trading its legacies. It's still offering its legacies. We got 2 days to I think get the legacies in here. They're amazing. They are amazing. Remember in the legacy accounts, and if you go in here, I wonder, do I need to do authenticator? I wonder if I need to do authenticator. Come on, what's going on here? No. So I just bought a couple of the legacies. I like to buy the 25s, but you can also buy the 50s. Either one is fine. The 25s, the reason why I love the 25s is, remember, on the legacy accounts, it's 1,500 draw down to 1,500 up. It's 4 big ones that you get to trade. There is no minimum days. There's like nothing there once you're in the funded part of it to kind of really drive you from just hitting target. So really worth just getting as many legacies as possible. They're also, by the way, going to renew. So if you blow one, the next month it's a 80% discount. Is still dirt cheap. I mean, they're basically like $16 for the 25,000s. They are like $19 for the 50s. Just grab 5 or 6 of them in a row and get yourself over. The only problem with the legacies is they don't do a 5-pack. I would have bought a 5-pack. They're just very useful. We're gonna have, I don't know if we're gonna have any one and done this week as far as news events go. But if you inventory like 4 or 5 of them, we'll certainly have one and dones next week, and we'll be able to do that. Promo ends 7:29 midnight. Ben says so. Like 2 more days. So grab them while you can. It's literally their best promo in my opinion, because the legacy accounts are just so much easier to run. Once you're in there, and with the scalping that we're doing now, it's just absolutely perfect for the legacy accounts. We don't have we don't really care about the drawdown. Our drawdown never really gets triggered. And we can trade them for as long as we want, as long as we trade with small size. 4 of the Mag 7 are reporting this week, but it's been a challenge to trade earnings because of just it's not like, first of all, the release time is not specific, so it's very hard to position yourself in front of release time. I think if we do anything on Mag 7. Earnings, we'll probably trade post as reactively. We'll probably trade reactively on signal, on scalp signals post the structure. Anyways, we got to go before market opens up. Volatility very quiet. ATR is like 10, right? Which is very unusual. In pre-New York trade, it's usually around 20 at this point. So we are very quiet. The drift has been pretty much to the downside, although we had a little bit of a runner here from 8:30, but now the drift is to the downside. This buy triangle is getting rejected. The buy thesis is getting rejected. So if this holds as a magenta triangle, we're gonna short this on my. I just opened up 2 legacies, so I'm just gonna rotate. I'm gonna trade legacies with you guys all day long. Let me just rotate this out to 73. And if I get a signal, I'll trade this on the 73. I'll just rotate between the 2 accounts with you guys, and we'll trade the 2 accounts, the 2 legacy accounts, as the best we can. So, all right, so I'm short this. I'm short on the 72s. Sorry, I'm on the wrong count. Okay, never mind. Let me show you what I'm at. So I'm short 72s. I need to be like right over here on my entry. My stop is over here against the swing high. All right, let's see if this plays out. On the trade. Right before market open. So obviously you've got 5 minutes. We'll see. This is probably the last trade I'm going to do before the market open. Let's see if it's going to complete or it's going to reject me. No, I don't analyze the higher time frame because we are interested in what's happening in the next 2 to 3 minutes. Look at that. Our handicap, our ability to put it very simply, XAU I can predict the weather in the next 2 to 3 minutes a lot more than I can predict it in the next hour in the next day, right? Our job is to predict price in the next 2 to 3 minutes. That's what we specialize in. We trade everything with a 1 to 2 risk reward and a 75% accuracy target, right? So we're trying to be 3 out of 4 accurate, right? London today, by the way, surprisingly, London was 10 out of 12. We hit 83% today, even though it felt like I was just, pulling my hair because it was so slow. But it really picked up, and we actually surprisingly really started hitting a lot of good trades. So we did well on the take profit. Now I'm going to run my apexes, both ways, and we'll go from there. That's it. ATR is 10. I'm actually trading with 1, but 8 only because I know when New York's going to open up, ATR is going to go to 20, and I want to trade one contract. But I'm going to rotate out. Hang on a second, guys. I'm going to rotate out the 73 account, and we're going to just bounce back between one and the other, one and the other, one and the other, one and the other. Good morning, astrologer. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Why don't I trail my wins? Because my wins are very, very small. I'm trading for 5 or 10 points. So I'm trading. There are guys in my room who trail them really, really well. You are welcome to trail. Sometimes you can hit like 100 points off my signal. Like you may be able to hit 100 points off this signal. It's just not what I do. I scalp, right? I give you the tools to enter the trades. What you do with this, the strategy is very much up to you. A lot of guys trade with my entries in a very, very different way, in a much more profitable way than what I do. Maybe less, there's always a trade-off between accuracy and profitability. I shoot for accuracy, but other people shoot for profitability. So if that's your jam, you can certainly do it with the indicator. Oh, good morning. I totally forgot. I created the guide to the indicator. Let me pull it up. Hang on a second. Where the fuck is it? I got to give you the right URL. Hang on. Yes. So control. I'm putting a link into chat right now, guys. I'm putting the link into chat right now. You can download the whole BK Dots guide that explains everything in the indicator. We're opening up. Market is tumbling. I'm obviously not trading for the first 5 minutes, but you can see, like, you were saying to me, yeah, why didn't I trail? You could have taken this. This was a trade. We opened at 37. It's trading, 94. There's a 40 point move if you just let it go. But it always looks good. If you guys are on X, I'm putting the guide on X right now again. Okay, let me see. I'm going to retweet it. If you go, I'm going to say, for those in stream, if you go to my here, I'm going to put this up here so you guys can see it. If you are in X right now, for those in stream on X, right there's the guide. Go get it. Go get it. Okay. We're trading Pivot. I'm not trading well charts right now. I'm working with on the well chart stuff. When it's ready, I'll let you know. One 1.2.1 is live. I updated it. I decided to keep it at 1.1. ATR expanding to 12. We're on the verge of open. Now we're opening. Let's see what the market wants to do. Do we pop and drop? Looks like we want to try to take down Tokyo low, man. London lows. Oh, we got to open up New York lows too. Let me adjust the New York lows. All right, here's the New York high, New York lows. First candle, not a lot of width in the first candle. Usually the first candle is at least 100. This one is not even 50. But we've had like 3 consecutive sells. This is a green triangle. Let's see if it confirms. If we get a cyan, like a blue triangle after this, we're going to go long on the assumption that they're kind of holding in front of the ICT order block and in front of fresh lows. We'll see how it holds. Let's give it a minute to play itself out. No, you got to delete it. It's supposed to auto update, but you just delete it and reapply it. Just to be, if you want the latest one, just delete and reapply. All right, we're breaking down to the downside. They're taking out the lows. 35 seconds left. This is going to be an interesting candle. There's a lot of vol over here. Just made fresh lows at 52. Where am I? I'm on 73. Okay. $12 seconds left. I was short against the this candle high. I'm probably going right up my ass. There we go. That's going to stop me out probably. Looks like it's a bounce. We'll see. We'll see if I can survive the stop. It's like a big vol, and maybe we'll survive the stop. I'm going to say yes. Very nice. So that got resolved to the downside. That was like a massive vol. I had my stop literally right above the high, which is we survived the high, and then it completely reversed to the downside. Okay, so now we have a another green triangle, but now it's remediated the Tokyo lows at 501. So it looks like it just wants to gun for those, and then we'll see if it wants to consolidate and kind of rebuild to the upside. By the way, I will put, okay, so as the New York session comes up, let's do this. I'll put the lightning bolt candles up because I want to show you something that I think is interesting on the lightning bolt strategy, the jazz strategy. All right. So this is obviously lightning bolt down. And what's interesting to me here is if I have the cyan blue, if I have a confirm up or confirm down, that's going to be a pretty meaningful. Like whichever way this confirm triangle goes, I want to go with that direction because I think it's going to be an interesting play to the upside. Matter of fact, you know what? Am I in 72? I want to go to 72. I want to redo my 72s. 72. And look at that. It's resolving. Is it resolving to the downside? Yeah, it's resolving to the downside. Wow. So, all right, we're short on this. And it got done. Just follow the triangle. You see, so why do I like this particular setup? Massive momentum signal with the lightning bolt tells you that it's beating the ATR, so massive momentum. And the second candle is going in the direction of lightning bolts. It's a confirm candle, so you got to go in that direction. And it's a super quick scalp to the downside. Took it out, nice, and we'll go from there. See what happens next. Hey guys, do me a favor. Somebody, let me just see. No, the lifetime update is 1.2.1. If you don't have that on your screen, you delete it, reapply it. If you still don't have it, log out, log back in, reapply it, and you'll get it because it's a cache problem. It's a 1.2.1. And now we're coming back up. Now we're getting the a lightning bolt to the upside, right? ATR is 25, really picking up some steam. Now we're bouncing off the lows. Now is an interesting trade. Like, do you want to trade the big bounce, which might be worthwhile? Like, might be fun to try to trade this. Let's give it a shot. Let's trade the big bounce in this particular thing. In other words, we're going to try and take a much larger slice of the trade. How much time do I have? 14 seconds. Basically, I'm going to be underneath here with an entry here. Let's see if we can get that done. All right, buy market. And that's a big ass stop here. So I got to put a big ass stop over here. Let's see if I can get this going, and maybe we can get it up to the. And we do get it up there. So you could have gotten a lot more, and you could have gotten a much more of a directional move. But again, I'm watching. You see, I'm watching the flow. The flow turns super positive. You guys want me? Who wants me to explain why I was pretty confident in this particular trade? Who wants a full explanation? If you give me 5 plus ones, I'll give you a full explanation of why this trade was a pretty good setup. So we actually hit 1, 2, 3. We're 3-0 on the New York Open. I don't see plus ones. Yeses don't count. Hi, Laura. How are you? Sanity, you cheating. No. DJ plus one, Sanity plus one. Let's go. Let's go. Who's new? I want to see some new people. Let's go, bitches. I want to see some new people here. I know there's a lot of new people here that Hound Dog. All right, the Forest Codex, Cheryl. All the old people want to know. See, all the people who are already making money in this room want to know. No, I want the new people who have no clue. How is it that we get so many people, so many accurate trades? All right, Striker, let's put up a plus one, Striker. Chris Singleton. Hey, Chris, nice to see you. Chris, I set you up. I think take a look at your email. I think you're all squared up. Tony, everybody. Okay, so let me explain to you, and again, it's contextual. It's contextual in the sense of why I thought this was a good trade. So we have London Open, we have New York Open, right? We basically we hit all the lows. We break Tokyo Open. Then we get the green triangle and massive lightning bolts strike to the upside. So big burst up, right? And then we get a second big burst up. So what this is just telling you is that the market probed the lows, like they took all the selling on market open was absorbed. And now they just basically whipped everybody who sold short here at the lows, they just whipped them around to the upside. And what this kind of tells you is that the bulls saw a bottom, right? That this was a tradable bottom. Now, if it's a tradable bottom, and if it does work, then it's a tradable bottom, not just for 500 to 600 for 100 points. It's probably a tradable bottom for a couple of 100 points if it works. So you could trade this structurally, with entry here, maybe a secondary entry here, and just a stop underneath here. If you're wrong and they break the whole thing, then this wasn't a tradable bottom. But if you're right, it really gives you a huge amount of proper anchoring. Like, the whole idea is that when you have a whole bunch of momentum buying signals after a big sell-off, that tells you that it's a tradable bottom. Doesn't always work, but when it does, it's good for 200-300 points. So if you're a positional trader, this is a pretty decent entry to hold against the lows, right? To hold the New York lows and stuff like that. Now, ideally, what you really want is actually to start getting more, upside triangles. You want to see green candles and stuff like that to confirm your idea. And maybe you would look at this right now, and what you want is that this particular lightning bolt to be overturned, right? The close on this thing is 47. You want it to close like 49.50. You want it to go up, not down. But from when you were over here, you saw this burst, and it was definitely good certainly for a scalp occasionally it's good for a V-shaped bottom. The basic idea was this gave you all the potential, not the guarantee, but the potential of making a V-shaped bottom, right? So far it hasn't made it. What it's done is done this. It's done this, and it might come back down to a double bottom and even a lower double bottom. But occasionally, a lot of times when it happens, you get this V-shaped bottom and it just starts to soar. So that's what I saw here. I took advantage of it for a scalp. If I was in a positional trade, this wouldn't have been working right now. And you can see, by the way, that the lightning bolt trades are trading to the downside, right? You are now under threat on these New York session lows. Now, is this a double bottom? Here's where it gets interesting. We can watch this and see if we get a reversal formation, if we get triangles up, if we get lightning bolts up, we get any kind of those reversal formations, then we can have a lot more confidence. Yeah, maybe this is really a double bottom tradable, and then could be a durable rally for 100, 150 points. The setting for the triangle is right here, guys. If you go over here into the dots settings, it's called show neon triangles, show confirm triangles. Both of those should need to be checked off. So V-shaped bottom fails, and now we're probing lows, fresh low, right? To the downside, we have more lightning bolt trades. Maybe the next one. Now this is where it gets interesting. Now we might get a green triangle here. Is this a kind of a bouncing bottom over here on the chart? We'll have to see. So far, I'm making fresh lows. That's a reversal triangle. You can DJ. You can remove that. As I told you guys, I'm putting together the full glossary into your course, and you can download the glossary, and it will tell you every single button is in there. But what you want to do is, these are reversal triangles. You can look it up what they are. We don't trade them right now. Just unclick them. Show reversal labels. Just unclick them. So back to the unwind. Looks like we're probably going to want to test the 400 before. And there's an ICT order block over here at 300. Wow. So we could go all the way down 300 before we find some support. Let's see. Let's see if we get a green triangle at least to give us a semblance of some support. Good morning, guys. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Oh, what do we do? This is 72. I'm going to go to 73. Okay, we're going to rotate. We're going to just keep rotating accounts. I keep forgetting to do that. Okay, rotating accounts. I'm going to make the habit of make a trade, rotate the account. Don't wait until the new setup happens. There's the green triangle. Let's see if we can get a confirm on this. Ooh. Rejection of the buy. 30 seconds left. This is signaling more selling. Interesting. Let's play if it holds. Right into New York lows. Ten seconds, 15 seconds on the clock. New York lows are at 25. All right, we short this. See if they want to run the 400 level here. I'm going to just pull myself up against the high of this candle just to give myself a little more breathing room. But to see if they're gonna pop hard, they're gonna just, this is like the bottom, and they're gonna try and wrap it, or the sellers are gonna come in and break the bottom here. See if the sellers want to break the bottom. I'll take it. I'll take it because it looks like they weren't going to fast break the bottom. If they're going to slow break the bottom, I usually like to cover it. So we covered that, not bad. What was that? That was the 73 account. Okay, not bad. So that's actually 4 in a row. Four in a row, just scalping away. Let's go to rotate myself out to the 72 account and get ready for the next one. Am I on the right one? Let me make sure I'm in the right one. Yeah, I'm in the right one. Okay. You see how like it wasn't like going down fast. When it doesn't go down fast, I cover quickly. So for now, they hold the 400s. And we're actually kind of trading up a little bit. I'm not looking too far left towards that gap earlier. No, I'm not. I'm always looking forward. Anybody ever see a movie called Gumball Rally? A really, really old movie from like the 70s. A really, really fun movie. I forgot who was in it. Oh, Burt Reynolds is in it. That's right. Burt Reynolds is in it. Tom DeLuise. Guys, anybody remember that movie? Striker, yes, it's available on Wallet Charts. We're modifying it to just kind of match it completely, but yes. Great film, right? So anyways, do you remember Raul Julia, who was in that movie? He was great. He played like that like suave Italian. driver. He's actually he was a great guy. He died at the age of 50. I had a chance to meet him when he was alive, and he was a really just a gentleman of a guy. Really, really cool guy. He was like a big movie star in the 80s. Anyways, he plays this very, very funny guy, and he gets into the car. I think it's like he's driving some Fiat or something, and the first thing he does is he rips out the rear view mirror. And the guy who's they're riding in teams, and so his sidekick, the one that's kind of navigating, goes, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" He goes, "What's behind me does not matter." And I always love that line because I kind of that's how I want to trade. What's behind me doesn't matter. I want to trade forward. So that's what to answer a long way. No, I don't look at the gaps behind me. Red triangle. Let's see if this could be interesting, because if this signal is if the sell thesis is reversed, in other words, if we get a cyan blue, that could be a very strong buy signal. Like sort of this would be the bottom, and this could be the pop, the pop reversal. But we have to see a blue triangle after this to give us some confidence that it's a pop reversal. Because for now, it's really interesting. They absolutely held the 400, which I did not expect. All right, let's see how we play. If this is magenta, that means they're going to make a second run towards the lows. What do we trade? We are in, I need to rotate. I always keep forgetting. 73s, rotate to 73. Okay. $22 seconds left. We're going short if this stays magenta. $10 seconds left. If this reverses the very last minute, we absolutely want to go long. So I'm watching this very carefully. This is one of those very tricky little candles. Boom, buy. Shit, I knew it was gonna reverse. So, all right, let's give this a shot. Let's see if the reversal works for us. This is a very, very last second reversal. Let's see. Just got a bad execution. Of course, I paid up a lot for it. I'm going to make this a positional trade. I'm going to do. I'm going to believe in the fact that this may be a reversal trade and make it a positional trade against the session lows. We'll see if we can survive that a little bit here. I think it's worth a shot. Wow, I just realized what a bad slip this was. It's just that this is the only, if I was in well charts, I'd be in much better shape in terms of execution. This thing closed at like 77 and I got in at 91. It was like a 20-point slip on this entry move. Really annoying. All right, we'll see if we can survive this reversal move or whether this is just going to grind us lower. We'll see. No adding unless the candle goes up, unless we see a positive candle. Oh, man. I see we have a lot of fans of the Gumball Rally movie. You see, they're battling that New York low. They're probably going to take me out right at the New York lows, and we'll see where it goes from there. But the trade did not have juice in it. No, I'm going to take myself out. All right, we're taking out first stop of the day. Let's see what happens next. Gonna rotate back out. All right. This is going to be brutal. If it stops right here and it pops back up, it is what it is. Took out really at the 400. Let's see, the New York session lows 401. Just basically ran the zeros. If it's gonna be a reversal, it'll be like probably a reversal around the 80s and the 70s. Usually that's where the reversals are. I don't know. It's a good question. It might test the Friday low. One of the things I keep forgetting, and people we keep mentioning, I think it's a really good idea, is actually we need to add 2 more contextual labels, which is prior session low, prior session high. That would be really, really useful. You're right. All right, taking out the 85s. Patient to see when the reversal signals come in. Oh, we're taking out the 50s. Wow. That's impressive. That means we're going for this order block over here. Remember I said 300? I think they were going to take out 300, so we're almost right down in there. Wow. Big move to the downside in the first half hour. Let's see where the bounces come back from. Usually, they always want to take out the ICT order blocks before we see any kind of bounce. So we're probably likely going to go to the 300s here. There's the green triangle. Let's see if they want to confirm the close here. Nope, still selling the lows. Still selling the lows. a tough trade, but we're going to take it. If it goes down, we're going to try to sell it right into the bottom because it's a momentum trade, and we're going to honor the signal. All right, short this against the candle high. All right, I'll take whatever continuity we get here because we're just going to remediate this block, and I feel like we're going to get close to a bottom here. I want to take the upside action more than a downside action. All right, let's reorg 73. This gives me a green triangle. I'm going to front run this trade. We'll see. But I'm going to try and front run this trade on the assumption that this is the bottom for the time being. And give myself a little bit of breathing room over here to the bottom, but I'm going to front run it and see if it will hold. No. This is where I get it. This is where the rubber hits the road. If the blue triangle wins, we have a reasonable chance for a bottom. All right, I'm going to add to this position and hold the bottom here, and then we'll see if we can get on the upside. Do we get any upside movement here? Order filled, order filled. Come on, baby. Come on. We'll take that one too. All right. So this is a little bit more aggressive trade, but it definitely worked very, very well. This is like the bottom picking trade. And by the way, this trade is probably good for, I mean, if this holds, and again, it's always a big if, but if this holds, like if we sort of hold the bottom here, it's probably good for about 50 to maybe to the 400 level. We'll see. But for me, as far as scalping, I was looking for a bottom. I got the green triangle. Here's a trick that I started using as far as kind of like widening my stops, to the volatility that I think is sort of useful in the moment that you're trading. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see. Let's see if this holds the bottoms, or if we're going to just break the bottoms again. Let's see. Oh, sellers are really coming in, man. They took out the 300. They want this low. This bottom does not quite hold yet. See what it wants to do. So I'm going to pass on this sell signal because I'm still thinking that it might be buying. As a matter of fact, this might turn into a buy signal, depending on where we close. Yeah, I'm going to be a buyer here. All right, a buy confirm on this. Let's see if it can hold to the upside here. There we go. 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 Come on. Come on. It was almost there. Come on. All right, we'll take them. I'll take what I can get. It was almost there. I almost had the 20 points. But this is what I was kind of showing you, is that it's clear that the buyers were just trying to hold themselves down here. They made a few more runs to the 300, but the longer we hold, the likelier this is going to start popping towards the 400. Like, if you want to take another trade to the upside, wouldn't be a horrible idea. Let's see this candle close. If this candle closes higher than this candle, I'll go long. Yeah, I'm gonna go long with a stop underneath all the lows here. Let's see if this is indeed a bottom on the trade. And we're done enough. And we come back. So you kind of see how I'm using the triangles to help me find, really interesting points of pivot. But if you're a longer term trader, if you are someone who positionally has the disposition to hold things positionally, you probably would find a really good foothold over here for, let's say you were somewhere over here in the 97s and 300s. You probably will get a trade all the way to the 400s. So, where I'm trying to take out 20, you're probably going to be taking out 100 if you have that disposition. But for me, you can see I'm buying the blues, selling the reds, buying the blues, selling the reds. Do that over and over again, and it adds up. It definitely adds up. And now, for those of you with the more patient approach, the bulls are now going to open this up towards the 400 level. Pretty cool, right? Everybody saw all of this. We actually managed to. Now let me see what the win losses are here. I think I only had like two losses. Oh, I can't get my. I lost my cursor, guys. So no, where's my cursor? Oh, it's over here. Why isn't it coming over here? Oh, okay, got it. Okay. Seven of 6 and on 72. 5 of 4. So that is 12 to 10 of 12. That's pretty good. US was 10 of 12 too. That's not bad for government work. Okay. 10 of 12 winners. Oh wow, it's like 10:15. All right, I'll hang with you guys till like 10:30. So final test here. Here we go, babies. Market taking out the last ICT order block around the 250 level. All right, gearing up for yet more structure. I'm going to take out the So another pull away candle here. Definitely, lots of directionality. By the way, a super easy way to obviously determine that we are in direction in like a super easy way to figure out that we're in chop is when there's no pull away candles, right? See, there's very few pull away candles in like over the last 20 candles. How many are there? It's probably going to be a really good little add-on, not part of this indicator, but just like write a tiny little indicator. We can call it pull away signal, and basically you can set how many periods back and how many pull away candles happen. And I think if you get like 10% or less of pull away candles within an X period of time, that's chop. And if you get like 50 or more percent, then that's really strong trend. So like just sort of like if you go back from here, 10, 12 to 9:52, 20, a 20 period time frame, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So like more than 25% candles, clearly a pretty strong directional move. Oh, we got a green triangle. Let's see. Can we get another bottoming? Do we want to trade the bottom here? Let's see. Or the sellers still dominate. Oh, it's really selling, just not stopping, man. That's a sell. That's not a buy. That was a hard sell to make, and it could easily have been, selling into the New York session lows. It's hard to sell the lows like this, but that's the signal. You gotta trust the process that there's still more momentum on the plate. You could have just either not taken the trade or taken a trade, but you can't fade this trade. Nope. Looks like they held it. Looks like it's going to be a big reversal move. And in this particular case, if this holds right here, you probably could reverse yourself. I would not be opposed to reversing myself here. Let's see if I can get it. All right, I'm in the trade. I'm going to hold this against the session lows and see if I can trade the other way. And that's not. It's not. I should have waited till the candle closed. I really wanted to see the candle close. I was just impatient. Close 51, close 59. All right. I'm evening myself out a little bit here on this trade. See if I can get this up on a basic reversal trade. Trying to see if we can survive these the runs to the lows. We'll see. It's definitely problematic, but let's see if the buyers can hold it here. A tough trade. So this put a sell signal, stopped us out, came right back down, and kind of chopped right down to the lows. Just a absolute whipsaw trade here. So it looks like it's going to be a whipsaw trade in this particular trade. All right, that just this one did not work. Because I and I remember I said I don't want to. I should be patient and I shouldn't do a reversal, and I kind of broke my own rules. The proper thing to do is just to be very patient now and wait for the next triangle trade, because that's going to be a much more stronger thing. And the other thing is, look, it just took us out right at the New York session lows, and probably going to go back up. So actually, worth watching this. If this candle holds and the next candle goes higher, it's definitely going to be it's definitely a double bottom test here. So let's see. Yeah. This candle holds. We're going to try one more time against the session lows. Let me see if I can buy the bit. Again, rushing the trade a little bit, but playing around. So this held. This does hold higher. Kind of confirms that there's a little bit of a bottom here. Let's see if we can get any continuity on this move. Nope, no continuity, unfortunately. I over levered on this one. I just took too big a piece on the back end, but hang on a second. Sorry. Again, just too big a piece on this thing. Let me take one on the other one, 72s. Nope. I'm not taking any trade unless I get a higher close. This is not a signal. This is one of those grind lower days where you don't have any turn. You don't have any turn possibilities. That they're going to take out the stops here. So we ran into a little bit of a grinder, and all of this is not what I should be trading. Like, this is all of these trades. There are no trades. There's no triangles, right? I'm basically like creating trades that are not there, which is why I'm paying the price of just being in a whipsaw. So fortunately, it's just one account. So it's my eval account. I can burn those kingdom come. But I would, you would never want to trade this in your funded accounts this way. You really want to wait patiently until you get a signal, which might take another 10, 20 minutes to go. We'll see. When you look at the price action here, you see that it's just chop up, chop down, no legitimate signals, right? So all of these trades is exactly what we all do when we don't follow our process, and it kind of costs you. But if you're gonna screw around, you definitely want to only screw around on cheap eval accounts like you have with Apex. But generally, you don't want to screw around. You want to just kind of stick to the process. It's just that it's been like 20 minutes for a scalp, so you lose patience, and that's a big problem. It looks like we unwound the whole gap. We unwound the whole gap. Wow, markets are getting very negative now. Now it's because it starts to run towards the 2,800. And it's like all the more painful because this short would have obviously worked, but he just clipped us out. Just clipped us out over here. And the thing to do was to have just done nothing after that. All right, getting a max red candle. Let's see if we can get any kind of a turn signal over here. Not yet. Or just a straight drip lower. No turn signals at all. All right, we're finally getting a neon red candle, which means that now we have a chance for a possible turn signal. Still selling hard, taking out. Looks like they really want to run the 2800. Wow. This has been a, what did we move? 10:13 to 15 minutes without a signal. Wow, it's a long time. I'm going to try and do something interesting here. We'll see if it works. But this is why, you know, you can use the Apex accounts for it because they're so cheap. If I get a green triangle here, I'm going to try and do a one and done. I'm going to try and see if I get a reversal on the day on this trade. Taking two large contracts, 156 ticks, no stop. If I get the green reversal, let's see if we can get that done. Yeah, they're just gonna drive it to 28, man. I'm gonna have to just be patient here. No, it looks like it's you know, it's just pure liquidation. Oh, excuse me. But remember, when it liquidates like this, that's when you hopefully get the right kind of bounces. We'll see. This is the first candle hasn't made new lows. Let's see. It's not made fresh lows. 19 seconds left. Let's see how this candle trades. If it hasn't made fresh lows, I might just get into this trade just for a punt. Oh, not worth it. We're not seeing anything. I really you want it to really break the highs, not hold those, but break the highs. For now, still no green triangle. I'm going to take a trade here. I'm just going to take a gamble on the fact that this might be the trade, but I may, you know, it could easily just stop me out on a retrace. So I'm just taking a big punt here. Let's see if it works. May not. Again, this pure punt, guys, just letting you know. I mean, it's a pure punt. And I may be just too early. The next candle could be the one that totally turns it, but I'm just taking a punt on this thing. Let's see. Oh no, look at that. No strength whatsoever. Nope, it's not going to let me do it. It's going to take me out. Yep. No, man. Wow. It's just pure down. There's no signal. All right. It was worth fun. It was fun. It was worth a shot. I absolutely think that like the next half an hour, you're going to get a pop for like 200 points on this thing, and you will be able to do one and dones. So I may try to do this off screen, but I got to run. Thanks, guys. It was a lot of fun. It was still a lot of fun trading today, although this was a very interesting, complete drop over here that is on the verge of probably turning itself around, like right now. Like right now, it's probably turning itself around. Matter of fact, you know what? We have the where we have the wealth charts. So I still have the wealth charts accounts. Let's give it a shot. I still have like one more of the wealth charts. Let's see if I can get into the wealth charts trade. Oops. Okay, let's give it a shot. Oh, I can't move this around. Why can't I? Okay, there we go. Nope, still not. Definitely not a signal. Definitely not a signal. This is the 50, so this would be. There's no signal here yet, but I'm just watching. No, totally turned down. Let's see. Yeah, they're going to take out 28,000. That's the big round number. That's the number that they want to run really, really hard. And whatever bounces you get, the bounces are going to be underneath that in the 2790s and stuff like that. All right, let's see if we can get a real legit signal on here, and then we'll see if we can trade it on well charts. So it's interesting, like just kind of show you guys all, what I should be doing and what I'm doing wrong, just kind of so you can take notes from my structure. So the only legit signal was here. That got stopped out. You're supposed to just wait until you get the next signal, which is right here. And that signal actually works perfectly fine. If you're just scalping away, you're totally making money. You just needed like 30 minutes worth of patience, which I did not have, right? But now I'm just basically trying to find the bottoms, find the bottoms. So if you want to find the bottom, the only legitimate way to find the bottom is if you get the green triangle and the cyan confirm as a bottom, which is what I'm going to try and do with well charts right now. And we'll see if that plays out. Although they popped the 28s, that was just so obvious. All right. One and done. Let's see it, baby. Ah, I guess I just over-levered. That's it. I over-levered on that one. I couldn't take it. Because I don't think this was the legacy account. That's the problem. This is why I love legacy accounts. If I was in legacy, I would have still been in the trade. Let's see how this still a down trade, man. This is still not a signal. Unbelievable. Still not a signal. Unbelievable. Yeah, I keep trying to buy the bottom, and my signals are telling me it's still a sell. That's why I keep losing these trades. I wasn't patient enough to wait for the confirm. All right, so incontrovertibly, this just kind of shows you that waiting for the confirm is by far the only really good strategy there is. Trying to buy bottoms and bottom fishes, I love to do. My personal weakness definitely cost me, a couple of accounts today. But again, the only saving grace is that you're doing this. If you're going to do your personal weakness, do it on your eval accounts. I would never fuck around like this on my fundeds. And all it does is it just kind of proves to you 1,000 times over that everything you're doing wrong is precisely what you should not be doing. Like all of the ideas that you have that you think still have a chance, they actually don't. The reason why this scalping really works is because there's a method to this madness that you need to adhere to. So with those famous last words, I'm going to leave you guys adieu. We're going to come back to London 4 hours tomorrow, and I'm going to try and just trade all funded accounts. Just going to trade all funded accounts and really, really trade it seriously, okay? Everybody have a great, great day. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.